Hello, everybody. This is some random Neko, waking up from her nap to greet the world for the day. And by greet, I mean show up over 2 months late with my Earl Grey latte to finally jump onto the K-pop Demon Hunters bandwagon and see what all the hype is about. Cause when I say I was confused when a friend sent a reel of the shrine someone made for Jinu at Anime Expo of all places, I was really confused. And also slightly concerned for the well-being of the person who made a shrine for a fictional character that people actually paid their respects to. But whatever boats their float, I guess. Anyways, what was I saying again? Oh right, K-pop Demon Hunters. Was it worth the insane amount of hype and attention it's gotten since release? Yes, no, and it depends. When they aren't selling out stadiums and topping the Billboard charts, K-pop superstars Rumi, Mira, and Zoe moonlight as hunters to protect their fans from the ever-present threat of soul-stealing demons. Just as their goal of sealing demons away forever is finally within reach, an unexpected adversary appears in the form of an irresistible rival boy band who are actually demons in disguise. K-pop Demon Hunters is a fun and well-made film with a lot of good things going for it. I like the way the film set up the premise, the characters, and the rules of the world, being quick and to the point so that the story wasn't bogged down by unnecessary exposition. I enjoyed the many K-drama worthy moments where it either leaned into the tropes or subverted them in a way that was hilarious to see. I liked how Huntrix and Saja Boys remind me of real-life K-pop groups, with Huntrix reminding me of KDA and Saja Boys reminding me mainly of Astro, but also of 17 and Stray Kids. And of course, I love the Huntrix girls and Jinu. Rumi is a fascinating character given the clashing natures of her mixed heritage, and I love seeing her go on her journey towards self-acceptance, with Jinu and her friends helping her along in different ways. Zoe is adorable with her bubbly and energetic nature, and I like how she freely expresses her creative spirit through songwriting. Mira is a great and observant friend despite her tough demeanor, and she reminds me a lot of Rosa Diaz, so I automatically like her on principle. I love the girls' friendship and how they're willing to be vulnerable with each other and lean on one another for support, after a lot of plot-related drama, of course. And Jinu is a really intriguing character given his backstory and the motivations for his actions in the film. He's a really great foil to Rumi, and I love watching the dynamic between them evolve from enemies to something more as they both helped each other learn to accept themselves and not hide from their shame anymore. I also liked how they don't kiss, because not every relationship needs to have that kind of confirmation, and it actually made their connection seem stronger without it. Also, I really love the side characters. The Demon Bird and Tiger were hilarious, and I wish they got to be in more scenes because they were just that amazing to watch. And Bobby is the best manager in the world and deserves all the spa days because he actually cares about the girls and wants to do everything he can to help them succeed. And I especially like the message the film conveyed and how they chose to convey it. It was interesting to see the film explore the themes of self-acceptance and identity by using demon patterns as a physical metaphor for the feelings of shame, guilt, and regret, with Guima acting as the literal voice inside your head, which reminds me of the phrase, "Your biggest enemy is yourself." Seeing Rumi come to terms with her shame and realize she's not a mistake, as well as Jinu confronting his past mistakes and learning from them, was just really motivating to see. And it added to the film's encouragement to embrace your true self and find strength in your uniqueness, which is especially evident with the girls accepting each other, flaws and all, with the ending also implying that the fans accepted those flaws as well. Which was a nice bonus, especially when you consider the idol industry in general, where idols need to put on a perfect persona to appeal to the fans, never allowing their mask to slip and their imperfections to be seen, or else it'll ruin the illusion, which could have some pretty drastic consequences. In regards to the production, K-pop Demon Hunters is really well animated, like almost to the level of Into the Spider-Verse well animated, but not quite, as I don't think any film by Sony Animation can reach that level again, as it was just that unique, though the Mitchells vs. the Machines does come pretty close. Anyways, the battle sequences were amazing to watch with a creative blend of fighting, singing, and dancing as is fitting with the demon slaying methods of this world. The character designs were also pretty solid, with each character being unique in their own way, with all sorts of details to help them stand out from each other. And the soundtrack is amazing and absolute fire. Despite the lyrics being majority English, the vibe and flow still felt very much like K-pop, and I appreciate that they at least threw in some Korean lyrics as well instead of just keeping everything in English. My favorite song to sing along to is Golden, while Soda Pop is a bop that lives rent-free in my head, and I consider What It Sounds Like to be the best song in the film because of how emotionally powerful it is. Also, I really love all the voices for the characters. The cast did a great job bringing the characters to life and making the personalities of each character shine through, and the singing voices were all insanely good. I loved how smooth and powerful they all sounded. really elevating the songs to a higher quality that was able to appeal to everyone's musical sensibilities, as was proven by the fact that the soundtrack made history by having 4 songs, Golden, Soda Pop, Your Idol, and How It's Done, actually make it onto the Billboard Hot 100. However, despite all the positives, there are unfortunately quite a few negatives as well. Some of those negatives are small things that just bother me personally. For example, as much as I love Golden, I wish they waited until later to sing the song, because I feel the early release lessened its impact, especially with everything the girls go through later on. The lyrics would have hit harder if it was first sung at the awards show, and Rumi's solo would have gotten an extra emotional oomph as well. Most of the humor didn't really hit for me, as it got really juvenile and cringy at times, especially with some of the exaggerated expressions that were just ugh. But I'm also not the target audience for this, so that's why it's just a personal nitpick. And I'm sorry, but I think Rumi's hairstyle is kinda dumb. She looks like she has a loaf of purple braided bread just sitting on her head because of how weirdly thick the braid is at the top. If it wasn't so thick there, I wouldn't have cared, but because it is, I can't stop thinking about how weird it looks. Then there are the negatives that aren't nitpicks, but things that actually affect the story and its message. For example, the final confrontation left me with whiplash because of how quickly Rumi changed her attitude about her heritage. It felt like a blink and you'll miss it moment to a very important part of her development. And is it just me, or did the ending kind of defeat the message the film was trying to convey? Like, sure, Rumi finally learns to accept herself, patterns and all, but the film spent quite a bit of time establishing that demons were more than what the hunters were taught to believe. Jinu outright states that demons do feel, but are only allowed to feel the negative emotions that come from their shame. That Guima is the true big bad. Rumi even spends time asking demons if they're being forced by Guima to do bad things. But then the film changes its mind near the end and decides that all demons except Jinu are evil, so it's okay for Huntrix to kill the ones in the stadium and lock the rest away. Like what? Were there really no other demons who deserved a chance at redemption? For self-acceptance? To be free from the voice in their head? I wish when the girls began singing What It Sounds Like, all the Saja boys paused while the faceless demons attacked. Then when Guima tries to take Rumi out, they intervene following Jinu's lead and begin singing as well. Then other demons could add their voices to the audiences in order to help create a honmun that locks Guima away and blocks his voice forever so the demons can also get their shot at redemption. And I don't know about you, but the film feels kinda shallow to me because the pace felt rushed with no time for anything to truly breathe and way too many questions cropping up because of the lack of development. Like, who was Rumi's dad? How did Rumi's mom and dad meet? What happened to the other Starlight sister? How did Mira and Zoe join? How are the hunters chosen? Where did the other Saja boys come from? What's their story? How did they join Jinu? Exactly what kind of honmun was made? Because it seems to function exactly like the golden honmun is supposed to, so what's so special about this rainbow one? And besides the countless questions that crop up, I'm also still left wanting at the end of the film for, well, everything. I wanted more moments of friendship and conflict with Huntrix. I wanted moments of development for Mira and Zoe. I wanted Celine to play a more active role in the story considering the impact she had on Rumi's development, instead of barely getting any screen time. I wanted more moments with Saja boys, whether it be through their rivalry with Huntrix or with each other while they're serving Guima. And I especially wanted more development between Rumi and Jinu, like the infamous aquarium scene that's been floating around the internet, which would have been nice to see. Because as much as I enjoyed the film and thought it was good, I was really expecting it to be more fully fleshed out considering it took 9 years to make, with 5 years spent developing everything and official production beginning in 2021. This film had way too much time to cook, and it still somehow felt like they took it off the stove too early. Overall, K-Pop Demon Hunters gets a B-. It's a solid and fun film that's well made with a unique animation style and design, a good story, great voice acting, and an amazing soundtrack. It's also got an interesting premise and a fascinating world that's being introduced. The Huntrix girls and Jinu are great characters, but it's Bobby the manager who we truly stan in this house. We also stan the hilarious duo that is the demon tiger and the bird with the little hat. However, despite how good the film is, it's bogged down by a feeling of shallowness in its character development, world building, and story due to its rushed pace and limited runtime. Only Rumi and Jinu get any sort of meaningful development, and even then, it still feels rushed and a little unearned in Rumi's case. The world that's introduced is interesting, but it left way too many questions asked and unanswered. And the film had too many jumps in the development of its plot and characters that made it feel like I blinked for one moment and missed everything in the next. Now, I'm fully aware of the fact that this film isn't meant to be that deep or anything, since it's mainly aimed towards the younger demographic, and I'm probably overanalyzing it like the nerd I am. Even still, I think this film deserved a better stove to cook on because it had all the right ingredients for an A+ S tier viewing experience, but it unfortunately fell short despite how long it took to be made. Hopefully, with talks of sequels now ongoing, future films will expand further upon the world that's been built and answer as many questions as possible because the story has so much potential that is yet to be fulfilled. So, in response to my earlier question as to whether or not the film is worth the hype, it honestly depends on the viewer. If you like it, you really like it. If you don't, well then you don't. It really is to each their own. Nevertheless, if you want a fun way to kill some time with friends or family, with a film that's a refreshing change from the cash grab hell Disney keeps trying to drag us down into, K-Pop Demon Hunters invites you to join Huntrix on stage in shining like you were born to be. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Reminder that this is just my opinion, so you can take it with as many grains of salt as you want. I don't mind either way, and would love to know your thoughts in the comments section down below. Please feel free to like, subscribe, and comment which film you'd like me to give my 2 cents about next. This is some random Neko, going off to unashamedly belt out Golden with my friends now. Don't forget to keep calm and just meow.